Hello, faithful community of NuNet. So it's been a while since we last met. I think last time we had with an MAA already more than 2 months ago, and we were not in the NuNet were not in the vacation. We were busy preparing things that we committed to do, and it seems that it's time to give a small update. And we are very happy to give this update and just to let you know what is happening. So let's just jump right on it. Yes, so we were busy in quite a few, let's say, areas. So I would like to update you with main let's say most important of them, without any kind of specific priority order. So one thing that we were thinking quite some time, and we implemented just I think last week or so, or we started to launch, is that we launched our what we call NuNet private network of private testers, which is something that will form a backbone of the NuNet, not exactly platform, but the network on which we will be testing all our products and all our solutions and new features of the network, so that we can roll them out into the production network, which will be used by already production people, which will need to be stable. And that is a milestone for us. We were preparing both from the technological side, also from the communication side with the community, in order to make this happen. So I'm very happy to see that and to observe that we have launched a call for the community testers to join our program, and we have over 1,600 applicants for that community network, or NuNet network private testers program, which is an indication that we are very well on the sort of on the road to reach pretty strong and diverse private network where we could test a lot of things before we, as I said, roll out into the production network for stable usage. Now, just to explain this for a moment, first of all, why I started with the community testers network is, as I said, our goal is to involve community developers and community compute providers as much into our development as basically core team. And the goal of the core team would be to guide and to help community developers to contribute to the network. And that this part, community developer program and community testers program, is pretty much let's say core aspect of the NuNet network development strategy, in a sense that only with your help and with enabling you to join the network and to help us to test things and to provide feedback, to show different devices, to sort of give us information so that we could allow NuNet to run on your devices, we could build a network which is diverse enough to span the whole world, so to speak. And this first few days, or first a week before, after we just launched it, it shows that we have thanks for your interest. We have pretty good standing to roll it out. Just a few words about what is this community development, community developers program. Is that we are launching it in kind of 2 tiers. The one that we now announced is a general call, or general, let's say, announcement for people who would like to contribute to NuNet network with skills or hardware that they have. Now, the difference between the general NuNet network and the testers network is that we would ask, and basically the requirement for the testers, certain amount of technical knowledge, because the test network will run all kind of not yet stable features. So people who will be joining test network will need to have quite good understanding how to onboard the devices, to get into the, let's say, debug the onboarding processes, to understand the hardware that they're running, and to understand as deep as possible, to understand how kind of peculiarities of the hardware, and to access it on a, basically certain system administration skills. It's not that requirement that everybody has to be like hardcore system administrators or Linux kernel hackers or things like this, but there will be certain minimal requirements. Therefore, thanks a lot for the applications. Now we'll take our time to look through them, to see what are the skills of applicants, and then we will onboard people who, we will contact everybody, or people who will have minimal skills. We'll contact, and we will onboard those people so that we can have direct connection with you for testing, for communication, and then we'll establish those communications so that we could have direct channel with developers. It will become quite technical, and the reason why we are looking at this quite sort of strongly is because the more, let's say, bugs and more questions we will solve in the test network, the less bugs we'll have in the production, and that is pretty much the goal. In production, we shouldn't have bugs, or at least that's ideal. That's the ideal. So the better and more kind of technical testers network we have, the better, the higher quality product platform in this case we may expect to develop and to ship, and that is exactly our goal. So once again, thanks for participation, thanks for the help, and that's as I always, as I like to say sometimes, it's just the beginning, which it is. And yes, looking forward very much for working with you. Now, after this tier of a general, let's say, platform testers community, we will also have specific calls. For example, when we will need certain hardware or certain skills or certain, let's say, protocols to test, let's say, when we'll need certain specific hardware to test, we will have calls for that specific hardware, and we will basically specify exactly the requirements which the platform will need in order to develop the next feature, or to sort of for the next use case integration project. These things we cannot say in advance. They will come as needed. Now we have during the token launch, we have allocated part of our token supply for the mining rewards. So the mining rewards are basically the rewards that we will allocate for the community or for the testers based on those specific calls, when we will know exactly what kind of hardware and what kind of, let's say, exactly what kind of specification of hardware we will need. We will have specific calls with a specific specification of the rewards for the hardware that we will be onboarding, and this will be defined quite clearly, so that everybody will know what kind of activity is incentivized and how much and how long. So yes, so this is basically the structure of the community developer program, at least well, for the provision of the hardware, that we are forming now the general community of testers, with whom we will start to interact, and then we will issue calls for a specific hardware, specific requirements, and for the use case that we are building, the features that we are building. Those ones will be related to the rewards and to the let's say hardware which will be incentivized. Doesn't necessarily need to be hardware. It could be other things that that community developers could offer to NuNet network. So this is how our community development program has just launched, and this is how we plan to develop it. Now, another side of the NuNet development, which is from let's say going on slightly longer, is the team building process or core team building process. So since our last MAA, we added we were joined by a few more colleagues and team members. Right now, I think we are at we have 19 colleagues and core team members, both in the 19 NuNet core team members, included developers and management and marketing team. We are also being helped a lot by the SingularityNet ecosystem advisors, let's say, or members who are basically helping us and relating all the ecosystem, SingularityNet ecosystem with NuNet activities. And since we are collaborating between all of us, so that includes SingularityNet, people from SingularityNet, also our colleagues from our partner Singularity DAO. So we are working with them quite closely in order to build our products and in order to integrate all the spin-offs of the SingularityNet ecosystem, and also to relate to the community of SingularityNet. So now, in terms of development, now as our now biggest emphasis is building the very strong core development team and start and not only start, we already started, but to continue developing the platform through the use case integrations. So we were busy building, first of all, inviting and joining, sort of building a team, and also organizing these team processes in order to streamline our platform development in a sense that we presented, I think, probably 3 months ago, when we presented the model of platform development in terms of use case integrations, through the use case integrations. So just to remind a little bit, the way we structure the development is that we have the long-term roadmap, depending on what you mean. I mean, what we mean by long-term, but I think it's 3 years worth roadmap, where we specify as much as possible to specify in this environment, which involves quite a lot of research, features that we want to build in order to reach the vision of NuNet, and we specify this as sort of granular as possible, and then we develop those features through the use case integrations, and the use case integrations are already related to specific or well-defined goals of what kind of compute we want to run, and it has an external partners with the use cases that they see as sort of worthwhile to run on NuNet. So let me just show you a little bit of, let me share the screen and show how do we organize this from the development side, and just to show progress and also to invite to join it. So this is what you see is our GitLab, one of our GitLab pages, and we are hosting all the development team activity through our GitLab, GitLab basically account. Well, not exactly account, GitLab page, which can be reached by gitlab.com/NuNet. Now here is the way we organize things from the development perspective. We identify all the use case integrations and basically the sort of projects from the business perspective that we're doing and what we want to achieve on the technical level as milestones. So right now we are working on 1, 2, 3, 4, basically 4 milestones in parallel. We have identified quite a few more. However, they are pretty much on hold, waiting for certain partnership events to happen and certain milestones to be reached from other sites in order to start rolling. So the main milestones that we are now busy with is decentralized SPO computing, which has a goal of first of all, this is something that NuNet has been awarded a grant from the Catalyst Fund 7, and basically the goal of this milestone and this use case is to allow Cardano stake pool operators to run the stake pools via NuNet. So this is something that we consider one of the main milestones. And basically each milestone has its own list of issues which we connect to the dependencies, so that we can organize a whole team to sort of prioritize those issues and solve them. All these things are public, of course, so everybody is invited and invited, and especially but not sort of exclusively people, community members who applied for the community developer program. You're welcome to check these pages, go to the issues, see whether you can help us specify them, whether you can help to solve us certain questions that we are asking or we are discussing within the team. Most of the things that are happening, and we are trying to do all of them, even related to our Zoom calls where we discuss technical things, we are putting them online so that basically everybody who would be interested and wants to get into it and to maybe develop certain features that are important for their use cases or for their projects, to help developing them, or to simply develop and to join, to commit code. And this is something that we are looking forward very much. And this is also in terms of organization, of how we organize all our milestones and the platform development. We want to make it so that most sort of accessible for the community to see, first of all, what's happening, and also to contribute and to apply it for their own projects or for their own goals. So we're welcoming any comments, whether now or on the GitLab, both in terms of technical things that we're doing here and we're discussing here, also in terms of organization. So let us know what you think about all this, all this organization, and does it make sense, and does it provide enough information, or what information you would like to see more, or maybe some better access to that. So first, I mean, back to the general what the development team is busy with, is that the first is the decentralized SPO computing. Another one, which is also related to the Catalyst, Cardano Catalyst proposal, is a decentralized GPU machine learning cloud first phase. This one is related to the proposal that NuNet was granted, awarded for the financing from the Fund 8 of Catalyst, in order to start building a solution so that people which have GPUs could onboard them on NuNet, and these GPUs could be accessed from NuNet network. So as we remember, this is phase one, which is basically covers the simple case, in a sense that GPUs which or workflows which need one GPU on one computer. And so after we, as I was talking, after we will sort of finish the first phase of decentralized GPU ML cloud, which allows us to access community provided hardware that will have connected, GPU cards connected to one computer, whether it's one card or another, or a few cards. We will be doing the second phase, which will be related to making virtual GPU clusters of machines having GPUs, different machines having GPUs into one big virtual GPU. That will be quite a bit more complex undertaking technically. And yes, so regarding the organization, we have one developer from the core development team who is responsible for the technical overview of certain milestones. So who holds all the, let's say, knowledge and dependencies, and who manages all the small sub team which works on that specific milestones. Yes, we can, and since everybody from the development team is readily accessible through the GitLab, we invite you to write comments and questions, technical questions, since this is a technical, let's say, window, tagging certain developers, or maybe milestone owners, so that to get complete, to feel, or to sort of to be part of the team, and to kind of contribute and to analyze and to contribute and to see what we're doing in the same way that we are seeing, we are organizing our work. And that is the goal of all these organizations that we're busy with and we're building. Pretty successfully, I think. We're making good progress. Is to allow the whole community, developers and the whole community, to work with the same tools and with this very close, let's say, access to the information the way we are having it. So then we have SingularityNet. Another important milestone is, which is slightly more longer term and slightly more involved, is integration with SingularityNet platform, which basically considers our, let's say, certain use case, which is historically is a sort of reason for the NuNet to spin off from SingularityNet, which is provide infrastructure for Singularity AI services to run on NuNet platform, which means integration of the two platforms and integration also of payment of the tokenomics of SingularityNet and NuNet, so that algorithms running on the SingularityNet marketplace could directly contribute to their own to the machines on which they run, without any, or with a minimal work from the developers. So basically based on the machine-to-machine interaction. And the fourth one, which is most active, is the NuNet platform public alpha, something that is specified in our roadmap. Now it is somewhat different milestone in the sense that we are doing platform features that are needed for public alpha or for private alpha to become public alpha, also as a part of these milestones, which is decentralized SPO computing and decentralized GPU machine learning cloud. However, it is also defined as a separate milestone with its own dependencies and own issues. And also it is having its own milestone owner. So this is a short overview of what we are doing from the development on the, let's see, the development platform that we're building and that we are opening to the community. And as I said, we are very much inviting everybody to participate, to give us ideas, and also to say what you think is good, what you think is not good, how can we improve it, and how can we improve it in the sense that we all could collaborate on a pretty much technical level using these tools, which is of course related to what we just talked, or what I just presented in terms of what is our progress in launching the community developers program and building it, and also building and developing the core team. So that these tools are the connections that we are building between the two, let's say, aspects of NuNet, which we consider as a single team. So let me stop sharing now. Now, another thing that is worth mentioning is that we are approaching, NuNet is approaching the third period airdrop, or the airdrop for NuNet token airdrops for the AGIX token holders. And right now we are in the third airdrop snapshot period, which will end until 18th of July. And the registration period for the third snapshot will start on the 19th of July, and it will last for 5 days. After which we will start claiming period. And of course, after that, as usual, as with all the airdrops, we have staking open, which will close again after 4 days. So for the more information, please refer to our Medium posts, which everything is, all these dates and all the with times, etc., are clearly described. Now we get quite few questions from the community via our channels regarding the token performance. And so first of all, NuNet token is a utility token which with the goal of providing utility for the platform to work and for people to be able to contribute, or for the algorithm providers and application developers to be able to reward the contributors of computing hardware in order to run the backends of the applications. Now, most of this token performance is, first of all, it's related to general downturn of economy and crypto economy, which basically, well, I consider it temporary, in a sense that temporary in general. First of all, it's not something that depends on us as much as we would like to, and we are trying, and we are working towards reducing the impact of it. Now, the way we are basically strategically looking at and also this aspect of NuNet is that we are building the fundamentals of the platform, and the token performance in the long term, in sustainable manner, is based on the fundamentals, which means on the platform and the uses and features of the platforms that we are now building, so that we could allow people to join with a computing power and to be rewarded for the usage of that computing power. So the basically token performance, or utility token performance, in the long term and in sustainable manner depends pretty much on that. So this is the aspect that we can influence, and that we want to influence, because that is the whole sort of goal of NuNet. And this is where we are putting our efforts and our efforts and our time and our brains to build those fundamentals, so that we could provide sustainable usage and demand for the utility token through the actual usage of the computing resources of basically of the world. So we are doing the way we are approaching the conditions in the market and the technological conditions in terms of technological development, is that we are trying to apply a balanced approach, so that we can see both sides. And right now we are in a phase where we are emphasizing and we are putting most of our resources in order to build the fundamentals of the platform, so that we can then build on top of those and to continue in a sustainable manner. Now, So besides that, a few things that I can mention is that as you know, we are now to basically free chain token, and on the Ethereum side, the products are offered by our partner Singularity DAO. Now on the other side, we have liquidity on the MinSwap, and there is ability to, well, users can provide liquidity for the NTX ADA token, and they can stake the LP tokens to earn free other tokens, NTX token, Min token, and now there is a third token added to the pool, which is ADA token. Yes, so these are the solutions or the proposals which are being developed by our partners, and we're very we're looking to them, and we encourage this token activity through these aspects and through our partners' proposals. As I said, in a balanced approach, as a NuNet team, the core NuNet team is right now pretty much emphasizing the building fundamentals of the platform, and to put the fundamentals and basis for the sustainable long-term growth, and going through the downturns of economy and markets, and getting out in another side of them, well, stronger. So this would be probably the updates that I wanted to share with you, in not all of them, but main. And now I think it's time for some fun answering questions. So first, again, thanks a lot for the questions. So I will just read them and will try to answer as much as possible. When will NuNet products be ready? Will NuNet products earn fees from customers, and will NuNet holders earn fees? So first one, NuNet products. So NuNet products, I think the best way to describe a product is in terms of the use case integration. So these are the use case integrations that I just talked some time ago. We are doing now 2 use case integrations. So let's say ability to onboard to run stake pool by NuNet. Let's call it a NuNet product. And compute providers will be rewarded through NuNet for the computing power. However, the ones who will do the actual rewarding will be the stake pool operators, which will be basically earning through the operating of stake pools. Now, in terms of NuNet holders, it will depend on how NuNet holders will participate in the network activities from the fundamental network activities, meaning in the ability for other people or themselves to provide computing power, to connect computing power with people or entities which want to use that computing power. We have certain ideas which are not yet plans to build certain products that would incentivize the activity, this kind of activity on the platform in terms of usage of computing, providing certain guarantees of computing, of compute owners, of algorithm owners, of the developers, and maybe application developers through which will provide ability for token holders to participate in this activity. And I think this is as much as I can tell right now in terms of what would be the role of token holders themselves in the activity of the network. But it will take a while until we build a system that will allow for token holders to incentivize the activity of the network. But yes, we have certain ideas regarding that, which is a pretty interesting aspect of NuNet platform development. Will it be necessary to use a GPU to be a node in NuNet? No. So NuNet is a generic, as if we look at NuNet as a, let's say, decentralized, well, I don't exactly like this term decentralized cloud, but it seems that it best describes what NuNet is trying to build, which means, infrastructure which is combined of different computing devices owned by different entities and private people and community. So in this sense, it's not in any way related to GPU. It's a generic computing resources. It could be GPU, CPU, or anything that we haven't yet with that. Tensor processing units, I think there is also. It can be any compute hardware. So no, it's not necessary to use a GPU to be a node or any other specific device. Basically, NuNet aims to be as diverse as the computing universe itself, which means it can include also mobile phones, which sort of have GPUs. But yes, so short answer is no, it's not necessary to have a GPU. However, the hardware that we will incentivize, hardware which will be incentivized to join NuNet will be the hardware that will be sort of demanded by the algorithm providers which will want, or let's say application providers which will want certain hardware to be on NuNet in order to use it for their applications. So that would be a longer answer. Now, will NuNet be able to optimize compute power? Will NuNet be able to optimize computing power within established environments, such as households and buildings? So this is a very interesting question, in a sense, at least the way I understand it, is that basically it's a little bit related to the previous one, is that sort of since NuNet is in essence, from the technical perspective, it's a collection of APIs and protocols which allows devices that can do computing work connect to each other and to share this computing work and to optimize the overall computing workflow. So in principle, anything that computes can be connected, or that's the aim. And also, actually, the computing also, it's not only CPU, GPU, or something that's based on transistors, but also sensors and also basically storage space. It's a part of computing which is used in computing. We may sort of imagine that sensors can be away from in another machine, physical, let's say, machine, than the CPU. So from the NuNet, fundamentally from the NuNet platform perspective, it doesn't really matter, these let's say environments. However, in terms of the use cases, it does. And since NuNet as a platform, it develops through developing certain use case, so connecting compute power within established environments, so it is an interesting use case in a sense. For example, we can imagine, since we have a lot of smart devices now in the world, which also have computing, let's say, capabilities within them, and it's also related to this, not exactly a new trend, but something that the world is moving to, a smart electric grids, which involves exchange of electricity, of information between households and household devices, and also exchange of computing. So this is pretty large area where I believe NuNet can make a difference by providing those APIs and protocols that we are building in these certain environments. Now, whether, okay, this is the way I understood the question. Maybe I didn't understand it correctly, but yes, these environments are interesting in order to figure out what kind of use cases NuNet can be best at. What we are constantly searching for, we're searching for the use cases to develop features of the platform, those use cases which come from the community. We are looking for the demand for the community for certain use cases. I'm a great believer that the let's say, the more people, I mean, in the community power, in the sense that more ideas and more intelligence and more creativity can come through the collaboration between many people. And our goal is to establish this collaboration, both in terms of exchange of ideas and also technical collaboration, which we were building. I mean, I was showing the framework that we developing. So in this sense, we would very much like to hear from you what kind of use cases you see as something that NuNet could, let's say, move to the, I mean, on the next level. The best in this sense is to, I mean, what we're looking for. And because theoretically we can think of many use cases, but some of them are very complex technically, or maybe they're complex from the business model perspective, etc. and so on. What we're looking for, and we're constantly sort of brainstorming with community and between ourselves, is which use cases are closest for us now to address in order to build next features on the platform, so that we can already make them, let's say, push them into the production environment and allow people already to use them without building all the other complex use cases, which we will sort of gradually come to. So these are the ideas that we will very much like to hear from you and discuss with you. Yes, let me check how we are with the time. Well, we are approaching 1 hour mark. So let me see what are the most interesting questions. All of them are interesting. What can I do? So one very concrete question, which I can answer sort of quickly. Did you think about developing a plug-and-play solution to be deployed easily by all users? For sure, we are thinking about it, and that's the whole. I mean, not the whole, but this is one of the goals of at certain point to come to the stage where we could simply provide application which non-technical people could download and use this plug and play, let's say plug and play, simply easily onboard the computers to the NuNet network without deep technical knowledge. Now, before we come to that, we need to have testers or community developers with more or less deep technical knowledge, so that we could use many eyes and many brains in order to develop those plug-and-play solutions, which should work on a diverse hardware. And as much as we like to think sometimes in let's say in development teams that we can cover everything, all the, let's say, cases, or all also use cases and also technical cases. However, this is pretty much not the case. We have to ask help from you in order to test those solutions. And so until we come up with a plug and play solution on this application, which is in the pipeline, which we are building and which we will be sort of shipping iteratively, and we will start it as soon as possible. However, it may not be plug and play from the beginning, so we'll have to work in order to make it actually easily sort of usable for non-technical community members. And until then, we'll have to rely and we'll ask for the technical expertise from the community. So that was a short answer. Now I answered, there was a question about community feedback and requests, so I think I answered this question with my previous answers. Right, there is a question when NuNet will become a SNET server. I believe I also at least partially, hopefully, answered this question. Well, I think as I showed, it's in our pipeline, and it should happen pretty soon, or at least this is a priority. Now, whether it will become a SNET server or not, it's actually, since SingularityNet, NuNet and SingularityNet, we are all in this ecosystem of decentralized ecosystem. And decentralized ecosystem says, I mean, the main principle is that community members have a choice where to run what to do with the algorithms, where to run them, how to get compensated by them, and so on and so forth. So we will provide this ability to run SNET services via NuNet. Yeah, that would be sort of the answer. We will, so there's a kind of, we can say the motto of NuNet is to provide more, to open more opportunities for people to choose from, rather than to provide one solution. And our goal is to provide opportunities that could make whatever people want to do better for them. And people have diverse needs. So, yeah, we do not try to convince anybody that one thing is better than another thing, but we want to provide opportunities for people to choose. By people, I mean all the sides of the community, whether it's providers of the hardware, whether it's application developers which need backend services, or the algorithm providers, in this case SingularityNet, which are providing basically the intelligence offering the intelligence by developing different AI service or AI algorithms. And I think one last question that I would like to try to answer, it's not exactly answerable in a very easy way, is because it's a broad question. Can you elaborate on what mechanism will lead to a semi-stable fiat value for services priced in a token with a fluctuation value? Businesses need to be able to project the future cost of services they utilize to maintain profitability over time. So I'm a little confused as to how a fluctuating token exchangeable for computing resources would lead to a reliable business cost analysis over time. And that is a really excellent question, which is something that is a basically fundamental problem to solve, not only for NuNet, but I believe for in general, since on this level of discussion, what NuNet is trying to achieve, we want to build the connection between the crypto world and the physical, let's say, units, or let's say physical world, or actual goods and services. And this is something that it seems to me that is still, I mean, it needs to be established. This connection needs to be established in order for the basically the promise of the crypto and blockchain to get onto the path of fruition. And this is something that is, I mean, it's a fundamental thing to solve. The way we are trying to solve it is through the computing power, which means what we want to do is to relate the value of computing power to the utility token, or to the crypto world through the utility token of NuNet. And yes, that is a kind of excellent question, because the tokens, they have fluctuation values, which means that we will be researching and we will be building solutions to bridge these things, so that application developers, or let's call businesses, it may be any entity which would want to use NuNet as the infrastructure to run the backends for application. And of course, not certain, but stability and predictability of the cost of the computing resources is important in order to build predictable business model for the applications themselves. So there are few solutions the whole crypto world is basically thinking about this, or maybe not the whole, but at least there are people who are thinking at this and developing approaches, both theoretical and practical, in a sense, trying them out. One of them is bonding curves, and let's say the augmented bandwidth cost and all kind of variants of this idea, which pretty much tries to relate the external tokenomics, and these are the sort of terms that we are using also at NuNet. It's external tokenomics, which is value of token and basically DeFi aspect of NuNet, and an internal tokenomics, which is how the computing resources will rise, how to stabilize this pricing, how to relate the external tokenomics to internal tokenomics. So it's already been formulated and tried out for quite some time, quite few years, is bonded curves. Now I'm just mentioning it as an example of certain theoretical thinking within the space, but right, we have certain ideas how to do that. We don't have a concrete plan, but what is the plan in this sense that we will have a specific resources within NuNet in order to solve this exactly challenge. From the both tokenomic perspective, from the technical perspective, and from the economic perspective as such. Now, it's not, well, let's say we don't need to be confused about that, but it is a research problem. And we, as I just said, we are geared to tackle this research problem from the let's say ground up, from the technical aspects that to build into sort of these solutions into the platform, and also from the overall economic perspective. And I'm hope and I'm that with time we'll be able to first of all to combine the knowledge that is with the space sort of solving these questions into NuNet, and also to provide space with solutions and ideas and certain research how to solve this challenge of bringing crypto into the, or bridging the crypto world to the world of kind of physical services, goods and services. And yes, so that's another aspect which we would very much like to collaborate with the community to hear your ideas, and not only ideas but also maybe to invite people who would like to work in this aspect of NuNet to join our team. And so that, I think, I am sorry I was not able to answer all the questions, because they are too interesting to be answered in a few words. But yes, we will answer them in other occasions, or maybe in other channels. And for now, thanks a lot for your support, and see you next time.